Director's Reflections for April 9th of 2023. Between Hoaxes and fake news. There are made-up news as jokes in bad taste or pure sensationalism, which Americans call Hoaxes. And also others that, far from being a simple trick to generate audiences, are intentionally falsified to deceive or manipulate readers, called fake news. Both modalities used by the media in the remote past and currently, with greater profusion, have destroyed the credibility and trust in the newspapers or the platforms that disseminate them. The massification of these resources has forced the media that practice professional journalism to deploy innumerable mechanisms to avoid them. Despite these precautions and modesty for the truth, there have been disappointing cases of large and respectable international newspapers that, caught in an oversight of their verification filters, published reports or hoaxes to attract audiences and then had to apologize to their readers. I bring up this subject to refer to experiences of invented news that we had in the Listín Diario at different times, which I attribute to accommodative practices of its authors. In one, which occurred back in 1970, this newspaper published in great detail a procession of Jesus the Nazarene in the middle of Holy Week, which never took place. The reporter in charge of covering the religious activity assumed that, as was the tradition, the procession would take place on Holy Wednesday and produce the same note from the previous year in order to take that day off. I think there was no bad faith in him, but a failed ruse to cover his absence from service. Unfortunately, a torrential downpour fell that day and caused the procession to be canceled. The Listín Diario took it for granted and published in the following day. Very early in the morning, the parish priest of the Iglesia del Carmen, Rafael Bello Peguero, alarmed, called the newspaper to deny it and reproach us for the slit. The other case is worthy of a work of literary fiction. A reporter described with emotional nuances the burial ceremony of a Dominican soldier killed in the Iraq War. After a newspaper published this moving account, the family called from New York to clarify that the deceased was still at the funeral home. An unfortunate combination of haste and lack of verification of the facts, two unforgivable failures to comply with any manual of journalistic ethics, gave rise to these unfortunate blunders. For Listín Diario, voice over and translations by Indira Rodriguez.